Hi, everybody. Welcome to Online Reading with Mr. Hallum. We'll call it that. It'll probably change. We'll figure out something new. So, uh, I just wanted to get together and kind of go back over, practice some of the stuff we've been working on in class. And I know it's been a while since we've been together, but I wanted to take this opportunity to try and, you know, do a lesson. And we're going to kind of do something like this every day. We'll see how this works and we'll get it posted up so you can be a part of it. So what we're going to look at today is, if you'll remember way back before I even went to my math thing that day, and then we didn't get together again, we talked about something called SCAPE. Now I'm going to hold this up. Okay. Now, right now it's backwards. So hopefully in a minute I can fix it and it'll be right side up. But if not, just use a mirror. All right. If you'll remember, SCAPE was a way that we worked on as a mnemonic device that we use to help us when we're reading a narrative story. And it was a way of remembering what we needed to do. SCAPE. S stood for setting. Setting is the where and when your story takes place. So if you're reading a story about Sherlock Holmes, the where would be London and the when would be long ago. Okay? If we're reading a story about Mr. Hallum sees a bird on his back porch, then it would be Little Rock was the where and today is the when. Okay? Character is the who or what the story is about. Now, when we talk about who or what, it's because if the story is about a person, it's a who. If it's about an animal, it's a what. And I know some people get mad that I said an animal is a what, but it's okay. And then A was for action. And the action is what happens in the story. You know, if we were telling the story of Sherlock, well, I was like, Sherlock, let's go back to my bird. So the action might be the bird landed on the back porch, the bird, I was looking out the window, I was trying to see what the bird was doing. The bird picked up some seed, the bird splashed in the puddles. Okay, that would be action that happened. Okay. P was for problem. And the problem is the main issue or the conflict in the story. So maybe our bird's main problem is that she needs food for her babies, and so she's trying to collect enough food and take food back for the babies, or maybe there's a cat sneaking up on her. Okay, that's the problem. Uh-oh, something scary, something bad. And then E is for ending, and the ending is how is the main issue or conflict resolved. So what happened? Well, the bird was smarter than the cat, and she flew away at the last second and carried a bunch of seeds in her mouth back for her babies, or something to that effect. So what we're going to start doing is we will have a time where we'll gather together, and I'm going to read a story to you. And while I'm reading the story, I want you to think about the scape, the setting, the characters, the action, the problem, and the ending. And I want you to write those down on a piece of paper, and then you can send them to me on my class dojo. That way you just click on there and type in your answers and then send it to me, and I'll get your answers that way. Today, because it's been a while, we're going to do a story that we've done before several times. We're going to look at Ruby Bridges Goes to School. Okay? And what I'm going to do is I'm going to read it to you, and I'll show pictures. It's just like a regular story. And I want you to figure out the scape, the setting, the characters, the action, the problem, and the ending. Okay? So, Ruby Bridges Goes to School. My True Story by Ruby Bridges. And if you'll remember, we've talked about point of view. And this story is told in what's called first person point of view, meaning that the story is told by the person it happened to. So she will use words like I and me and my, things of that nature, okay? So just remember that because other times we'll do other stories. All right, Ruby Bridges goes to school, my true story. A long time ago, some people thought black people and white people should not be friends. In some places, black people were not allowed to live in the same neighborhoods as white people. In some places, black people were not allowed to eat in the same restaurants as white people. And in some places, black children and white children could not go to the same schools. This is called segregation. The United States government said segregation is wrong. People should live where they want. People should eat where they want. Children should go to school where they want. My name is Ruby Bridges. In 1960, I went to kindergarten in a school for black children. I liked my school. I liked my teacher. I liked my friends. But there was a school for white children, even closer to my house than the school for black children. It was the William Frantz Elementary School. The government said Ruby Bridges should be allowed to go to the William Frantz School. In 1961, I was in first grade. My mother took me to the Frantz School. Marshals came with us to make sure that we were safe. Some people did not want a black child to go to the white school. They stood near the school. They yelled at me to go away. Parents took their children out of the school. I was alone with my teacher, Mrs. Henry. I loved Mrs. Henry, and Mrs. Henry loved me. I was a very good student. I learned math. I learned how to read, but I wished the children would come back. Months and months passed. Then one day, children began to come back to school. At last, I had friends to play with. I was very, very happy. Many people have read about me in newspapers and books. A famous writer, John Steinbeck, wrote about me. He wrote that I was very brave. That's a picture of John Steinbeck, not a character in the story. A first lady, Eleanor Roosevelt, wrote a letter to me. The letter told me I was a good American. Norman Rockwell was an artist who painted a picture of me. The painting has become very famous. Now I am grown up. I am married. I have children. One day, Mrs. Henry and I were both asked to be on a TV show. That was the first time we had seen each other in many years. Now we talk to each other often. Now black children and white children can go to the same schools. I like to visit schools. I tell my story to children. I tell children that black people and white people can be friends. And most important, I tell children to be kind to each other. All right, that's our story for the day. So what I'd like for you to do now is on your piece of paper, hopefully you've taken some notes. If not, you can remember, write down the scape, the setting, the characters, the action, the problem, and the ending of the story, and submit it to me via Class Dojo. And I'll take a look at it there, and I'll send you a note back or something that tells you you did a great job, or suggest ways that we might could help you find things in the future. I look forward to doing this again. I'm going to try to do one every day, Monday through Friday, taking the weekends off. We don't have school on the weekends. And we'll work again. Tomorrow we'll do a story that you're also familiar with. So that way it'll, again, kind of get you back in the motion for paying attention for SCAPE. And then next week we'll start with some stories that you haven't heard that are just, kind of fun stories to tell. So thank you guys for listening. Have a great rest of the day. And I look forward to seeing you next time on Story Time with Mr. Hallum.